close your eyes and let your awareness come inward and downward. So away from the ceiling fan of the mind that has been whirling with news and world events, news and even local events. Let your awareness come in and down. And placing one hand on the heart, you can sense the feelings, the emotions, perhaps the compassion, the longing to be connected. And one hand on the lower belly, where you can sense your breath coming and going. And as you sense the breath coming and going, in yoga we say that it is in the second chakra, in the element of water, beneath the visibility of the daily eye. It's in the second chakra that we have these unmet needs, these unrecognized, deeper expressions. And so as each of us is going about the pragmatics of daily life, sometimes when we sit down now amidst the world news, we come to feel emotions that have been below the surface of our awareness. As you breathe into the lower belly, do so with an intention to feel what's present, what's been beneath the surface of your attention. But also bring the breath from your lower belly up into your heart to access even an attitude of compassion for yourself, for whatever emotions are present in response to the world news, the local news, the personal news, and the collective news. Allow the breath to touch the lower belly, second chakra, and to move upwards towards the heart and the fourth chakra. And with your exhale, gently tone your lower abdomen to draw from front to center, towards your sacrum, towards your lumbar spine. And let's use the exhale to remind ourselves that as yogis, we do have an inherent capacity to keep coming back home, to become more grounded. So if the in-breath is to feel what's been beneath the surface of your daily awareness, beneath the visibility of the conscious eye, and to bring the breath up to the heart for compassionate responses. The exhale is to feel your capacity for grounding, for resilience, for connecting to your home base. Let's do that one more time. Please breathe from your lower belly, allowing whatever emotions are stirring. Bring the breath up into your heart to touch the source of compassion. And then exhale and gently tone your lower belly, reminding yourself that you do have the yogic experience of becoming grounded, rooted, returning back home to the resources of your own wisdom, vitality, and grace. And then please bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. And we'll sing and call and response, and I'll sing both the call and the response. Listen for the silence at the end of each sound. One line will end in silence before the next line begins. Om Bhargava Svaha. Om Bhargava Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya dimohi. Margo devasya dimohi. Yo yona prachodayata. Yo yona prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and open your eyes. And so this afternoon we're going to be working with the second chakra and the fourth chakra to recognize that we do have this under the surface, like under the ocean, this sub-water life that's going on, these emotions that we may not even realize were there. And we come to our yoga mat and we get still and we tune in and we say, oh, yeah, that's present too. And then we want to have a response that comes from the heart of compassion, towards whatever is arising for us. We also want this practice to remind us that we have a place of grounding, of restabilizing, of coming back home. So please interlace your fingers, turn the heels of your hands inside out, and raise both arms up. As you inhale, press up through the thumb side of your arms and lift your heart. When you exhale, concentrate on toning your lower belly in towards your sacrum and towards your lumbar spine. Once you complete the exhale, draw the next inhale in slowly and smoothly. Lower belly, second chakra, mid belly, third chakra, and up to the heart, the fourth chakra. And then exhale again and gently tone your lower belly. With that will come the pelvic floor tone of your first chakra, low belly, second chakra. Release to the inhale smoothly. You touch the pelvic floor with the inhale, then the low belly, the mid-torso, and up into your heart. And exhale again, smoothly tone from your lower abdomen in towards your center. And then once more, inhale smoothly and slowly. As you exhale, press your arms wide, and as you reach out to the sides of the room, let your arms come slowly, slowly down until the exhale completes as your hands also complete the movement together. And then just pause to notice what is present in the lower belly, in the water element, in the emotions. And then please walk your hands forward to come into a forward bend about 45 degrees to the floor. This forward bend is meant to help us stretch into the hips while keeping your pelvis grounded. Please walk both hands to your right so that as you walk to the right, you're going to keep your left hip grounded and press into your left fingertips. Breathe along the left side of your waist, left lower back, left rib cage. And some of the breath can come up into the heart. And let's imagine again that on the inhale, we're giving permission for whatever is present at the second chakra, the water element, the element of emotions that are under the surface of our daily awareness. We are also bringing the breath up into the heart, where we access an inner sense of compassion, for all beings as well as for ourselves. Now, keeping your left hand stretched out, place your flat palm on the floor so it's more stable, and place your right hand on your right knee and add a little twist of your torso to the right. So keeping the other elements of your pose stable, gently twist your heart and your torso to the right. And take an even deeper or more nourishing breath into your lower belly. And then exhale, release the twist, and walk your hands back to the center where you started with a gentle sort of half forward bend, about 45 degrees, and not more than that towards the floor. And then walk to your left, and reach your right hand very specifically away from your right hip, while keeping your right hip grounded. And then close your eyes and bring your breath down into your lower belly. Imagine you are going beneath the surface of the water to find out what's present for yourself today. Reserve some of your inhale to come up into your heart so that whatever is present for you is also receiving the heart of compassion. As you exhale, tone your lower belly and remind yourself you do have inherent skills as a yogi for becoming grounded and resilient. And then place your left hand on your left knee, place your right palm flat on the floor where your hand is, and twist your upper back to your left. In this twisting, we might find that you're able to highlight the breath into your lower abdomen and your back legs. And if possible, save some of the inhale to come up towards your heart. And then inhale one more time, and follow your exhale breath to walk back to center. Now allow the forward bend to be more complete. Release the weight of your head as is comfortable for you. Please keep your hips grounded on your blanket or your mat. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your seat and rise up to sitting upright. And now take the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. But I'm going to ask you to slide this Baddha Konasana out so it's not as snug for your feet as would normally be. So slide it away from your feet about halfway. We're going to call this Omega pose. And when you come forward, come just gently forward towards your feet and let your attention go down again to the lower belly, to that which is beneath the surface of the daily eye. And by this I mean the things that you normally see in your daily life, in your emotions or your mind. And allow the breath to come down low into your pelvis. First chakra, then second chakra, the water element. And then even into the mid-torso, the third chakra, and up towards your heart, the fourth chakra. And then place your right hand again on your right knee. Do whatever is comfortable with your left hand. You might cross it over your ankles. And please twist to your right. So while keeping the forward bend and adding the twist, you might feel this in a somewhat different way into your mid-back. Allow the inhale to be nourishing and kind. And for your exhale to remind you that, again, as a yogi, you have these inherent skills you've been building for years, decades, perhaps a lifetime. And then exhale and fold back to center towards your feet and cross your left hand to your left knee. Perhaps your right hand goes over your ankles. And as you add a twist to your left, stay with your forward bend to the extent that you can. And let the breath again come down to be a source of nourishment. Your first chakra, second, third. And reserve some of the inhale for the heart, the fourth chakra. And with the exhale, connect to your inner capacity for becoming grounded and resilient, coming back into your yogi self. And then exhale and release towards your feet once more, so you're centered, and please rise up to sitting. And now you can stretch both legs out and give them a little shake out if that's something that you benefit from. You can make the feet into windshield wipers like this. And then please reach for your yoga strap, and we're going to come up to standing. So when you come up to stand, you can put aside the blanket or the bolster you were sitting on and rise up to standing with your yoga strap. And I'm going to ask Rebecca to change the angle of the camera just a little bit. So be thoughtful because that laptop is unstable. There you go. Great. So if you take the strap that you're using and you put a loop into it, I'm going to ask for this loop, just like all these decades of yoga I've been teaching. I want the loop to be so that it is shoulder width apart for you, something like this. Okay, and then when you put your wrists in there, inhale, raise both arms high, and press out against the strap with your wrists. So you're really activating your upper back. It's okay. It's enough. The laptop is unstable, so if it tips backwards, you'll regret that. So when you're stretching up, when you press out against the strap with your wrists, activate your upper back and your heart. And then root down through your tailbone into your heels. And I'm going to ask you to maintain these two directions as you now bend your knees and sit down to chair pose. So this week so far in our yoga practice, we have been using chair pose and remembering that the earth element is also essential for us right now. So in chair pose, root down from your hips, through your thighs, your shins, your heels and toes. Connect back into the root system that is you and the earth together. At the same time, let the breath come down into your lower belly and to touch the second chakra, the back of your waist, and up into your heart. Now with an exhale, push down to rise back up to upward hands pose. And then on the inhale, lift your heart and gaze upwards. And now we're going to exhale, float both arms forward and down. Catch the strap in one hand and let your arms dangle for a few moments. Close your eyes and stand in the plumb line between the earth and your heels. The inner plumb line of your body, reaching up through the crown of your skull to the sky. And then take the same strap with the loop and put it behind you so it goes, your wrists go back in the strap and the hands can be shoulder width apart. So this process now, we're going to be taking the arms and shoulders to press back. So as you squeeze your wrists out against the strap, equally energize your shoulder blades across your upper back and lift your heart. Root down from your tailbone into your heels, and as you energize your legs, remember the earth beneath your toes, the mounds of your toes, and both heels. Let the breath come into your lower belly, and then into the back belly, and up into your heart. When you exhale, concentrate on the smoothness of the breath leaving by toning your low belly towards your sacrum. One more time, please breathe in. And as you exhale, release the strap from your hands, and again, let your arms hang in a very relaxed manner. Come into your plumb line and sense now how from your heart down through both arms there is this warm, nourishing river, returning the warmth to your hands, fingers, and thumbs. And then one more, please take the strap so that you have the strap part, not the loop part. Stretch both arms up, and then slide your hands apart on the strap to bring it down behind you, any amount that your shoulders are comfortable with. So here, this is also a very long time warm-up pose for us in our community. As you press out against the strap, pretend it's a giant rubber band that you could actually stretch. Let your breathing come down into your lower belly. Continue to include the mid-belly so you're not overarching your lower back. Bring the breath up into your heart remembering the source of compassion for all beings, including yourself. So each breath cycle, we're practicing touching the chakras, first, second, third, and fourth with the inhale. And then toning the pelvic floor and the low belly with your exhale. This is like an inner journey of the chakra system, not just a physical practice for your muscles and your bones. When you next exhale, slide one hand on the strap down until it's loose. And let your arms one more time dangle. Come to notice how you're feeling in your physical body, in your breath body, in your mind. And if possible, you could sense how are you doing in the chakras. First chakra for the earth element and grounding. Second chakra for the water element, our flexible, adaptive response to life. Third chakra for the fire element, our ability to take action and to stay motivated when needed. The fourth chakra at the heart, the air element, our access to compassion, empathy, and loving kindness. So let's put the yoga strap aside now, and I'm going to ask you to clear the space on your yoga mat. And because one of you did ask me if I could please pull my hair back, thank you for the recommendation. I brought a hairband for today's practice so that you can still see me. We're going to come to the sun salutation. Okay, so please turn to the front edge of your yoga mat, and you can use 2 blocks if you'd like to set them up for your sun salutation. And this morning I would like us to use the pose called Anjaneyasana in the sun salute. That's when you're going to be touching your knee down in the lunge pose. So please step to the front of your mat, join your hands together at your heart, and re-stabilize in your footprints connected to the ground. And then inhale, sweep your hands down, wide and up. And please lift your gaze to look up at the high point of your inhale. Then exhale, sweep your arms wide and bow forward to Uttanasana. Energize both legs. Inhale, lengthen your heart. And as you exhale, step your left foot way back to the basic lunge, and then touch your left knee down, the blanket or the floor. This is the beginning of the pose called Anjaneyasana. Use your right heel and inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. We're going to use this pose this morning with the breath. When you come up into the pose, abandon the breath on the side margins of the practice. Moving down to the lower belly and up into the heart. Continue with your exhale, smooth and steady from your lower abdomen in towards your sacrum. And do one more inhale, please. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart as you come down to touch the 2 blocks or the floor. And with an inhale, float your left foot forward to meet your right foot. And then exhale, step your right foot back. Touch your right knee down to the floor. Root into your tailbone, but without hammocking into your hips. And then inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. And as you rise up into this pose, do not leave the breath on the side margins of your yoga mat. Keep the inhale moving smoothly down into your lower belly. When some of the inhale comes up to the mid-torso, and the final part of the inhale is to lift your heart and your collarbones. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart, Anjali Mudra. Touch the 2 blocks lightly, and please step forward with your right foot. Inhale, and then exhale to bow deeply towards your legs. Root down to rise up as you inhale. Lift your gaze at the top of your inhale to meet your hands. And exhale, return your hands to your heart. So we're going to continue. As you inhale, sweep your arms up overhead and touch the sky. And then with your exhale, bow forward and touch the floor or the blocks, Uttanasana. Smooth inhale, glide your heart forward. Step your left foot back first. Touch your left knee down. This is the pose called Anjaneyasana. Inhale to rise. So we're going to stay in Anjaneyasana for several breath cycles. And this is a time where you can say to yourself again, you've been practicing yoga, you have the inherent skills, and this is to nourish you, not to fatigue or overwhelm you. So press into your right heel and let the breath touch the low belly, mid belly, up into the heart and the collarbones. Remember, the exhale tones your lower abdomen. It is a reminder that you have some inner resilience to which you can return. And then with this exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And now cross your left elbow over your right knee and twist to your right. And if crossing your elbow over your knee for the twist is a little bit more difficult for you to be breathing in the twist, then we change the setup. So a modification would be to place your right hand on your right knee and your left hand on the block and support the twist of your upper body to your right. So for me, the twist is more important than how you get there for the twist. The breathability is more important than whether you crossed your elbow or you're using your hand against your knee. Invite the breath to come into your lower back and also your mid back. And then as you next exhale, release to touch the two blocks or the floor, whichever you've been using. Please straighten your left leg and then float your left foot forward to meet your right foot. And now let's take the right foot back, touch your right knee down to the floor. This is for Anjaneyasana. Inhale to rise up. Now for some of us in Anjaneyasana, looking up feels like aspiration and optimism. And for some of us, looking up feels like you lose your balance. Right, so make the choice that's yours in this case. You may gaze up. You may also gaze forward. You might even gaze down, even though the pose is upward moving. And keeping the breath smooth, with your next exhale, come forward to cross your right elbow over your left knee. And when you cross your elbow over, you could bring your palms together and support the twist to your left. If crossing your elbow over your knee is not a comfortable, breathable option for you, then place your left hand on your left knee, your right hand on the block, and twist your upper back and your heart to the left. And welcome the breath to be smooth and nourishing. Particularly, you can prioritize the back of your waist, like the back of the second chakra, back of the third chakra. And then with your exhale, please release this pose and either use your two blocks for your downward dog pose or set them aside and use the floor for your downward dog pose. And as you reach back into your downward dog, notice that it's a symmetrical pose. Again, it's not an asymmetrical pose, not a twisting pose. Your hips are higher than your heart. Your lungs are slightly inverted. Allow there to be a full breath into your lower belly and your back wings. But also allow for the gravity-supported exhale that you have right now. That means that gravity is on your side here for exhaling more completely, a little more smoothly. We will do one more inhale in downward dog pose, please. And then exhale and come forward to plank pose, whether you're on your blocks or on the floor. And in plank pose, allow the breath to still come down to your lower belly and also to your back waist. Reserve some of the inhale to come up into your heart. And then as you exhale, touch your knees very lightly down to the floor. Separate the knees as is comfortable for you to reach backwards into child's pose place one block under your head for child's pose. Or you can make a little pillow of your hands to rest your head on for child's pose. I want this to be really restful for your lower belly. For some of us, when the head goes all the way to the floor, the dynamics of child's pose does change. So having your head supported may make it easier to breathe into your lower belly. And listen into the lower belly and the water element for whatever is present, allowing that there's a whole ocean of emotions, many options. And no emotion is right now the best or the worst. No emotion can be made to be the right one or the wrong one. Just like multiple kinds of fish in the ocean, multiple kinds of emotions. Just walk your hands now back to your knees. And rise up to kneeling. You can put your two blocks aside. And reach for a blanket. I'm going to ask you to take a blanket or a bolster, or if you have neither one of those, it's completely fine to do this next sequence on the floor. It's a little bit more supported when you use the blanket. You can angle the computer slightly down. So what we do here is you fold a blanket in half like this. This is, of course, one of our yoga studio blankets. So I took that from the storage shelf and I folded it in half. I'm going to lay this down the yoga mat this way so that when I lie on this, I'm going to support the pubic bone and pelvis and up to the belly and into the heart. So if I lie down facing you, looks like this. I will turn it as a profile so that what you can see is where I'm placing the blanket. And when you place the blanket, the pubic bone is on the edge of the blanket. And that's going to be an advantage to you for the back bend that we'll be doing. So then take your arms back alongside your torso and turn your head to your left as you come down to rest on the blanket. Energize both legs and keeping your thighs, your knees, and your feet grounded. On your inhale, come from your low belly, mid belly, heart, shoulders, arms, and head up into Salambassana. And then exhale, turn your head to your right and lower down slowly. Inhale to rise slowly, keeping your legs grounded like the earth element. Come up to the line of the torso to the crown of your skull. And exhale, come down, rotate your head to your left. Inhale to rise. And exhale to descend. And continue so that your breath cycle is really the choreographer. You inhale to rise up like a wave in the ocean. We exhale to go down, turn your head opposite each time that you come down. When you inhale to rise, do your best not to rush it, but to be like the wave in the ocean, taking its time. You exhale to descend, also without rushing. Do this 4 times more. The smoothness of the breath is like creating the ocean current in your body, both for the ascension and the descension. The pressure against the belly in this pose is a way of coming to know a little bit more the resource of the lower belly. The lift of the heart in this pose, we don't want to leave that out. We don't also want to make it too urgent. So imagine that lift of the heart is really supported by the air element as you come up. Do it one more time in the rhythm that you're working. And when you come down from this one, when you exhale down from it, turn your head to whichever side is yours to turn to and rest. You can close your eyes and feel your body breathing you from within. And sense how you go from exertion back to ease. How the waves in the ocean, like at sunset, the ocean becomes more tranquil. And the waves remember that they are part of the ocean, supported by a much bigger presence than just their wave self. Please place your hands now beneath your shoulders and press yourself back towards child's pose. If you like, you can just use the edge of the blanket for your farm at this time, or the blanket and the staff of your hands to come down to child's pose. I do want you to have the sense in child's pose that your hips are a little closer to your heels, and that might be one of the benefits of raising your head with a blanket, a block, or your hands. And please walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to kneeling or to sitting, and take a blanket to sit on, perhaps the one that you were just using. You can now sit on this blanket. You can bring the blocks back into focus. We did a variation on this pose a couple days ago. We're going to repeat it so that you can practice things more than once in the sequence. So this is a pose we're going to call by its Sanskrit name, Janasirsasana. By its English name, we're going to call it revolved, so Parvita Janasirsasana, revolved head to knee pose, which for me is really more like revolved exaltation pose. It goes like this. Keep your left foot in and stretch your right leg out alongside. Take a couple of blocks in preparation for supporting your head, or the blocks are going to support your arm, and you'll see that in just a moment. Rotate your torso gently to your left, and then side bend down to your right. And you may find that these blocks are naturally the right height for your head. You had some good intuition about it, as I did, or did you have to work to set the blocks up to be the right height? And if that's not the right height for you, you can also do this. You take the block to support your arm, and then your arm supports your head, or two blocks to support the arm, your right elbow, and then your hand to support your head. Either case, raise your left arm up now past your left ear. And as you root down into your left hip as a source of grounding, allow the breath to travel from your left low belly up the left side of your waist, reserving some of your inhale for your heart. Return to your lower belly during your exhale. We'll do this about 5 breath cycles total, so make it a time where the pose feels breathable enough to you. And by breathable enough, I mean you can sense your body. You remember the pauses in your breath cycle. And you're able to kind of lightly touch each of the chakras during the inhale. And remember the purpose of the exhale. And then as you next exhale, connect to your left low belly and bring yourself upright from Parvita Janasirsasana. And take your 2 blocks, hold your right foot in, your left leg out. You may set the blocks up on the other side. Then you can plan to use the blocks for your head or for your arm, in which case your hand is going to support your head. You please twist to your right. And then as you exhale, side bend to your left. This is one of those yoga poses where we come to realize that we have some imbalances, like we are not symmetrical left to right. So make the choices that nourish the pose on this side, even if it's slightly different than on the first side. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, you can check the breathability of the pose by asking, is the breath smooth? Do you have pauses in your breath cycle? Do you feel that your breath can gently touch each of the chakras, 1 through 4? You have a sense that you can remember the purpose of the exhale to tap into your resilience and all the skills you have been building as a warrior, as a yogi. And then breathing in one more time. With your exhale, float yourself upright using your right low belly for support. Release your right arm out to the side. And let's take the 2 blocks and simply put them aside and come back to your first meditation seat where we started class this morning. Notice sometimes after a pose called Parvarita Sirsasana or ones that are like it, there's this like inner swimmy feeling. Notice that resolving itself. I'm trying to get a sense now that the elements, earth, water, fire, and air, these are the 4 that we're working with in today's short practice. Try to get a sense of how they are just now. How grounded do you feel? How mentally flexible or adaptive are you feeling? What is your inner sense of motivation or focus? What is your access to compassion, loving kindness? Just checking in with yourself in this way. I'd like you now to come to Shavasana, and I'm going to recommend for Shavasana this morning that we elevate the legs. So that's going to mean that either you have an ottoman, a chair, you might have a sofa, or I said earlier, a very large dog that likes that experience, a dog that is stable for that experience. So when you do this, we call this the waterfall pose. And you essentially bring yourself down into a pose where your hips are on the blanket. Your legs are on the support. And there's this waterfall moving from the legs to the first chakra, second, third, towards the heart chakra, towards then the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th chakra as well. So please come down into your Shavasana. It's a good time to remove your glasses if you're wearing them. And to let the eyes close and go inward. I'm going to ask you to imagine during Shavasana now that there is an upstream source to this waterfall. This is called the waterfall pose. And this upstream source is the tradition of yoga, thousands of years of tradition. And that this source is flowing towards you right now. You can imagine this particular waterfall. The water comes from the feet upstream to the shins, to your knees, going down to the thighs, into your pelvis and the pelvic bowl. And at the first chakra, the tradition of yoga reminds you that you belong to an immense tribe, an immense community, past and present, near and far, known and unknown to you. And the water comes to the second chakra and reminds you that you have the capacity for resilience, for flexibility. You're also reminded that we have a wide myriad of varieties of emotions, of needs in the second chakra. We can bring to these realizations our own resilience, our warm welcome to whatever is present. And this waterfall flows towards the third chakra, the solar plexus. We are reminded that we have internal skills, wisdom, that want to act in integrity, in alignment with those skills and wisdom. And then to the fourth chakra, where we touch our innate capacity for compassion for all beings, including ourselves. As you rest in Shavasana, imagine this waterfall. It is also flowing towards the throat, your center for clear speech, and towards the third eye, your center for clear sight. Imagine this river of yoga comes through you, and it will become your actions, your relationships, your service as a yogi warrior. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu. And with the bell sound, when you hear that ringing to the inner ear, allow yourself to remember this massive river of yoga, this tradition into which we are tapping upstream. And that is flowing through your life, nourishing you, nourishing the chakra system. First chakra, that sense of grounding and belonging to the entire tribe. Practitioners and non-practitioners, past and present and future, near and far, known and also unknown to you. The second chakra, your resilience, your flexibility, your adaptability for responding to what life is asking from us. Also your access to the watery element, the emotions beneath the surface level of daily life. And the third chakra, the center of fire, where we have discernment, wisdom, and we put skill into action. The fourth chakra, the center for compassion, for equanimity, loving kindness. The fifth chakra, the center for speech, for being truthful in our communications. The sixth chakra, the sense for clear sight, for having a vision, the vision that is beyond our personal, call it the transpersonal vision. And the seventh chakra, our connection to the cosmos, to consciousness, to the totality. And as this river of yoga is flowing through your body right now, so too may it today flow through in your thoughts, in your actions, in your relationships, in your speech. I'm going to ask you to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and please bring your knees towards your chest and thoughtfully transition to your right side. And rest a few moments there before you come up to sit. And when you come up to sit, I'd like to share a short pranayama practice that you might be able to rely on today to tap back into this particular sequence and to remember the heart of compassion and its capacity for expansive compassion. Our capacity for that kind of compassion is interwoven with, is dependent on our ability to feel the emotional underworld that is ours, because it is also ours collectively. When you come up to sit, we're going to be practicing a breathing that I call triangle breathing. It's where we inhale for a certain length, and that is one side of your triangle going up. And then you hold the inhale for an equal length that was the inhale. And then you exhale for an equal length again. So this triangle has 3 equal components. We inhale, let's say it's 8 counts. We hold for 8, And then we exhale for 8. In the hold of the inhale, you want to really lift the heart and let it be expansive, buoyant. Let's try this together. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to have your eyes closed. There won't be much to see when I'm breathing, so concentrate on your inner breath. And begin with the inhale to count your inhale length to yourself. And let the breath come up through the torso into the heart. At the top of your inhale, hold the breath in. Snug the low belly in and up to support the expansion of your chest and heart. And then exhale for an equal length again, exhaling slowly and smoothly to the end of your exhalation. Now inhale and count for yourself. For the length of your inhale, please hold that into the chest and heart brightly. Snug your low belly in and up. And then for that same length, please exhale deliberately to the end of the breath. And let's do this 3 times more. And one more time at the pace that is yours. Even though we are silent, you can imagine everyone else on the call is also practicing this breath. And then exhale completely. And pause to rest with your attention in the inner stream of the chakras. Notice what's present for you and any change in your connection to feeling grounded, resilient, motivated, compassionate, truthful, clear-sighted, connected to all that is. And please bring your hands together at your heart. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And then release your hands, and you may thoughtfully open your eyes. I'm going to come up closer to the computer where I can see you. And this is the time in class where we can have a little bit of connection, voice-to-voice connection. I can see your names. Please, if you haven't yet, and before you sign off, a couple of things. I'd love for you to put your name in the chat and say hi there if I can't read your name because it's not a part of your title on your sign-in. Also, a couple of housekeeping moments. Please do make comments on Facebook or Instagram. I'm not a great user of social media, but I do know that word of mouth makes a difference, and spreading the news that we have this available to people is really essential for building community right now. Thank you, Sharon, for your appreciation. Also, you can make a donation on the DAYA Foundation website or on the DAYA Foundation Facebook page, and we do appreciate all of your donations. Your contributions do help us to keep doing this, but also to be able to bring resources on paper, handouts, and so on into the prison, which is also currently on quarantine and lockdown even further than they normally are.